how'd you end up down south? I know you went to a HBCU.
Winston-Salem State. Winston-Salem State University, basketball scholarship.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular
Same
belief, I could play. Contrary to popular belief, I could bowl a little
Certified.
bit. But you know, I cracked my kneecap in half, so I never really had a career once I got there. But your man, Boris Terrell Battle.
Shout out to T, man.
You know, that's my
man.
man, working for the Minnesota Timberwolves, was there when you were there. And he and I were classmates and roommates in college. You know, that's one of my best friends on the planet. So, you know, we went to school together and had a good time. It was the best 4 years of my life. It would have been better if I could play. I could tell you that much, but I had an absolute blast. And I would honestly say that, you know, it did a lot for my life, because I don't know where my life would have been had I not gone to an HBCU and had I not gone away from home. Had I been stuck staying in New York City, I don't think that I ever would have been able to position myself to accomplish what I would accomplish, because I would have been too distracted by the streets.
Right. You know, it's crazy that you say about the HBCU. I watch a lot of the stuff that they're trying to do. I see the effort. I see us on some of the major networks.
Yep.
You got to have a product out there that people want to see.
Yep.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
If Allen Iverson goes to Hampton, does he have the same trajectory of history and the same effect?
I don't think so.
If Ja Morant goes to, let's say, North Carolina A&T, let's say he go to South Carolina State,
Right.
shout Bulldogs, right.
Right.
Does it change the trajectory of anything in their paths?
I think so.
Of how we see them?
I think so in this regard. I think that when Allen Iverson went to Georgetown, obviously they're in the Big East, playing for John Thompson, high profile, et cetera, so as mercurial and sensational as he was, the fact that he was performing on that stage in the aftermath of the adversity that he experienced said a lot about him. If he had gone to an HBCU, HBCUs were not getting the level of notoriety that it gets today, and even today it ain't enough.
Right.
And so because of that, even though he would have been a star talent, I think he would have been better off from the standpoint of being surrounded by people who looked like him, shared his cultural identity, et cetera, his ethnicity, of course, all of that stuff. And as a result, his support base would have been strong, but he still would have been in that cocoon. And the folks that had the power to make him into who he ultimately became, I'm not sure they would have went there to get him. You see what I'm saying? Whereas in Georgetown, they came to get him. Now, the flip side to it is that support that he was lacking, had he had the right support early on, there's a lot of mistakes he wouldn't have made once he became pro. Because one of the things that happens to you when you associate yourself with an HBCU or you associate yourself with your own community, if you got any kind of soul, you feel an obligation to be there for the community just as much as yourself. And how could I prove this to you, to anybody that didn't go to an HBCU but was stars in the pros or what have you? Think about what you have done for your boys. The HBCUs is your boys. Think about what you've done for your girls, whether it's your daughters, your sisters, your mom, or anybody else. That's HBCUs, those females. It's a family. Yes. And when you have that kind of connection to them, this is what they do for you at HBCUs that they ain't gonna do for you at predominantly white institutions. You know what you're here for, right? Don't let us down. You know you representing us, right? Make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. And they staying on you like extended family. And because of that, if you have that kind of love and that kind of connection, you don't want to let them down. I tell you professors right now, Marilyn Roseborough, Larry Little, Dr. Brooks Shaw, Dr. Sadler. I mean, I've got professors that I haven't seen. I mentioned one of them that I talk to often. A few of them I've seen once or twice in 30 years. I know their names like the back of my hand because I wouldn't be where I am if they didn't do what they did for me. And so when they get that kind of love and that kind of support, and you know that it's coming from love, they can hold you accountable in ways that other people can't because they can touch your conscience. They don't have to do anything else. And so every time you go out there, you're like, yeah, I want to do this, but that wouldn't look right. That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't feel right. And you think about that. And if it gives you cause to pause, more often than not, you're going to make the right decision.